Hi, this is Adrian from Live to Learn Academy. Welcome back to our advanced functions series where we'll be going over lesson 3.7, factoring a sum or difference of cubes. Mind you, this is from the Nelson Advanced Functions textbook, so if you're somebody who needs tutoring and needs help with this course, feel free to click the link in our description where you can get contact with our team to help you with all your advanced functions needs. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. So guys, this is a lesson called factoring sum or difference of cubes. So first we need to know what is a sum and difference of cubes. So the sum of cubes is represented by this formula. Okay, remember sum is addition. So sum of cubes is represented by a cubed plus b cubed. And the formula for this is if we factor this, it's going to look like this. A plus b, a squared minus ab plus b squared. Okay, so this is the sum of cubes. Remember, sum refers to the addition of cubes, right? So sum is addition, hence why the addition, that's where that addition sign comes. So if this is a sum of cubes, then what is a difference of cubes? Difference of cubes is literally the same thing, but instead of addition, it would be, like you may guess, subtraction. Okay, so you got the sum of cubes and you got the difference of cubes. But the difference of cubes, the equation is a little bit different, similar but different. It will be a cubed minus b cubed. And it will be a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, and notice how the subtraction for difference of cubes is represented by this. So these are two equations that not only are you going to have to recognize when you're doing these questions when it comes to factoring, but you're also going to have to memorize these equations. And by the way, guys, this sum or difference of cubes is not just going to be shown in advanced functions. When you get to calculus or higher levels of math in university, you're going to need to know these formulas, and the teachers are just going to expect that you have memorized this. If you're lucky and you got a good teacher, they might give you the formula on the test, but most times from my experience is they don't give you this on the test. So I would say copy these two formulas down. Now let's go into how we're supposed to approach these questions. So I want to first talk to you guys about some common cubes that I've seen in these textbooks. Okay, so common cubes to memorize. I'm just going to put them here, and these are just my notes, right, for common cubes to memorize. 2 cubed, 3 cubed, 4 cubed, 5 cubed, 6 cubed. I would say these are the most common cubes. So 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. 4 cubed is 64, 5 cubed is 125, and then 6 cubed is 216. So I would say these are common cubes to memorize, so maybe start memorizing these. So once you see these on tests, you'll be able to recognize them right away. Okay, so let's get into some practice questions with sum and difference of cubes. This lesson is actually pretty easy. So let's go example 1. Let's say the question says x cubed minus 64. So right away, what I need to first identify, right? Step 1 is you have to ask yourself, is this a sum or is this a difference? Now, obviously, from looking at this question, we notice the negative sign, therefore we know it's a difference of cubes. Step 2, we're actually going to write out the formula for difference of cubes. So step 2, I'm actually just going to take this formula right here, and I'm going to bring it down here. So we have it. The difference of cubes. So the first thing that I have to ask myself is, well, mind you, the step 2, let me just write this over here. Step 2. It's going to be a cubed minus b cubed equals. So if we look at this equation, what we need to first figure out is what is a and what is b. So step 3, we're going to find out what is a and what is b. Okay, so what is a, what is b? If I look at this equation, my a is going to be x because it's x cubed, so my a has to be x. But my b is not 64, it's actually going to be the cubic form of 64. So what is 64? If I look at my memorized chart, my 64, it's going to be 4 cubed. Therefore, b is going to be 4. That's all. Once you figure out a and b, you just plug it back into your equation. So step 4, we just plug and play. So if I know a is b, I know it's going to be x cubed minus 4 cubed is equal to x minus 4, x squared plus x times 4, so 4x, plus b squared, which is 4 squared. And then I can simplify this equation by saying x squared plus 4x plus 16. And there you have it. That's your answer. So when it comes to these equations, right, you got to follow these steps. Step 1, identify, is this a sum or difference of cubes? Step 2, figure out what the equation is if it's a difference of cubes. Step 3, identify a and b. And then step 4, plug and play into your formula. Okay, let's go to another question. Let's try this example. What if the equation is 64x cubed minus 125? Again, this is a difference of cubes. So we know difference of cubes, we're going to have this equation. But now we got to figure out what is a and what is b. The whole premise of these kinds of questions, guys, is the hardest part is figuring out what is a and what is b. But the better you get at it by memorizing this chart, memorizing the key terms, if you memorize this, guys, your life's going to be a lot easier, because I've seen these questions and they always generally use these kinds of these cubes. So 64x cubed, that would mean a is going to be actually equal to 4x. Because if we say 4x cubed, that cube would get distributed to the 4 and it would get distributed to the x. So that would make it 64x cubed. So this is just the side math of showing you how it equals 4x. And b is going to be 5, because 5 cubed is 125. Okay, let's plug it into our equation. You're going to get 4x minus 5. And then here, you're going to get 4x squared plus 4x times 5 plus 5 squared. And let's simplify this equation. 4x minus 5, you'll get 16x squared plus 20x plus 25. And there you have it. This is your answer. Okay, so now that we've done some of those, let's try an even harder one. Right? Let's try a harder one. I'm going to try one with fractions. It's all the same thing, guys. It's all the same thing, but they'll make it a little complex, give or take, based if they use fractions, if they use factors. So let's try one with fractions. Okay, let's look at this. 1 over 27 x cubed minus 8 over 125. Now, here's the thing. Right now, because we're in the lesson sum and difference of cubes, we know we're going to have to use those formulas. But what if we saw this on a test randomly? How will you be able to recognize that this is a sum or difference of cubes? That's the tricky part. Because sometimes your teacher might not tell you using sum or difference of cubes solve this question. Sometimes they may just expect you to know it. So you have to really know what these cubes look like in order to kind of understand right away and identify that this is a sum or difference of cubes. So let's look at this. I can tell 27, 8, 125, they're all cubes because those are part of my memorized list. So 1 over 27, right? If I were to take this and I were to say it's 1 over 3 x cubed. And I'll show you how that side math works out, because this will be 1 cubed over 3 cubed times x cubed, which is 1 over 27 x cubed. So you see how my a value is actually that 1 over 3x. But what about for the 8 over 25? So for the 8 over 25, I'm going to say it's 2 over 5 cubed. Because, I'll actually put it in black just to be consistent. 2 cubed over 5 cubed is equal to 8 over 125. So that means my b is actually 2 over 5. You see how we're kind of using our memorized list to be able to get that fraction? So now we can just plug it back into our formula. Now, mind you, I know all three of our questions, guys, had to do with difference of cubes. It doesn't really matter. If it was the sum, you're using the other formula. So you're just adding instead of subtracting. So here we have 1 over 3x minus 2 over 5. And then you have 1 over 3x squared plus 1 over 3x times 2 over 5 plus 2 over 5 squared. So now if we just clean this up a little, 1 over 3x minus 2 over 5, and then it will be 1 over 9x squared plus 2 over 15x plus 4 over 25. And then that would be your answer. So there's different types of questions, guys, that you can get. You can get the fractions questions. Let's actually even try one more. Let's try one more just to make it a little interesting. So this one we did with fractions. This one we're going to do with factors. So this is a different type of problem. So let's say you have something like this. X minus 3 cubed plus 3x minus 2 cubed. So this one's actually pretty easy, right? Right away we can tell that this is a sum, not a difference. It's going to be a sum, so we're going to have to use the other equation. So let's pull up that other equation first. So the sum, we're going to pull out this equation. And let's bring that down here. So we know we're going to be using this equation because it's the sum. But the thing is, we got to find out what a and b is. In this case, it's actually pretty easy because a is that and b is that. A is the x minus 3 and b is the 3x minus 2. So let's write this out. A is x minus 3 plus 3x minus 2. I'm just going to move it over to create some space. And then you got a squared, which is x minus 3 squared, minus x minus 3, 3x minus 2, plus b squared, which is 3x minus 2 squared. Now, obviously, you can't just leave your answer like this. We actually got to chop it up and simplify it. So let's simplify this. This is going to be x minus 3 plus 3x minus 2. And then over here in this other bracket, we're going to have x minus 3, which we're going to have to FOIL out. X minus 3, 3x minus 2, which we're going to also have to FOIL out. And 3x minus 2 and 3x minus 2, which we're also going to have to FOIL out. So notice how I'm doing it step by step because I want to keep it clean. Don't try to be, don't try to use your ego and, get ahead of the question and just try to do it all in one shot. Okay, I wouldn't recommend it because it's very easy to make mistakes, especially with the negatives and the positives. So really take your time with these things on a test. So here you're going to have 4x minus 5. Over here we'll have x squared minus 6x plus 9. And I like keeping them in the bracket to just keep it clean. Here we're going to have 3x squared minus 2x minus 9x, so minus 11x plus 6. And then over here, we're going to have 9x squared minus 6x, so minus 12x plus 4. We're still not done. We got to clean it up even more. So 4x minus 5. And then here, we're just going to get rid of the brackets and distribute the negatives as such. So the negative, we're going to distribute that. Negative 3x squared plus 11x minus 6 plus 9x squared minus 12x plus 4. And then now our final step, let's group the like terms. So we got x squared minus 3x squared and 9x squared. So what does that give us? Negative 2x squared plus 9x squared is 7x squared Then let's go to the next one. We have negative 6x, 11x, and negative 12x. So negative 6x plus 11x is 5x, minus 12x is negative 7x. And then let's go to the next one, which you have the 9, negative 6, and 4. So 9 minus 6 is 3, plus 4 is 7. 9 minus 3 plus 4 is 7. Cool. So this is good. We can actually even factor out a 7 from that second term. So if I factor out a 7, I'll be left with x squared minus x plus 1. And this right here, guys, is your final answer. So notice how we use difference of squares, but this type of question, we have to do a lot more simplifying, right? So this question is a little bit trickier because of the simplification. But it's easier when we find the difference of squares, the sum of squares in this case. But the hard part of the question is the simplifying. This one, the hard part is actually finding what a and b are, but plugging it in is pretty straightforward. And then these two, it's really just using our table that we memorize. So this is really key when it comes to this kind of lesson. So I hope this video meant a lot to you guys. I hope you guys understood the sum of cubes, the difference of cubes. This is an important lesson that you're going to need throughout advanced functions and calculus next semester. So if you are somebody who needs tutoring, or you found this video helpful, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Feel free to get in contact with our team. We'd love to help you guys throughout the semester. But without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video.